For Pressure Points, I'm Gene Munster for Deepwater Asset Management. Our topic today is Vision Pro, why the developer community is the pressure point and central to the success of this product, and why I believe that eventually it's going to be a hit, albeit take some time. We're going to talk about the investor psychology related to Vision Pro, separately look at iPhone and its growth trajectory and the impact of developers. And then we're going to do the same thing for Watch and conclude by talking about the outlook for Vision Pro for the next 5 to 8 years. So back to the top, just to level set here, Vision Pro, it's about spatial computing. That's similar to augmented reality or mixed reality or metaverse from Meta's language. But all of these are basically bringing digital items into the real world. It's a new computing paradigm. So that's what Vision Pro is all about. The investor expectations for this product are modest at best. Most are skeptical about the potential success of this, given Meta's been in the market and their product, Quest, has not sold well. They sell between 6 and 7 million units a year. That compares to about 230 million iPhones sold a year. And so that disappointment, I think, has really set the stage for this skeptical view related to Vision Pro's potential. I would wager that those of you who are skeptical of Vision Pro and its potential haven't tried the product. I've demoed it. It is lights out good, and I think it's going to surprise people and investors and developers alike when we start to see it in, call it, 5 to 6 months from now. So that's the setup. Next, in terms of learning from iPhone related to the developer community, and this is really the key points related to today's episode, is that the iPhone wasn't always a hit. It came out in 2007. I remember in that first year, sales were bouncing around, not hitting expectations, and one investor calling me saying this product is dead on arrival. And the reason was initially the iPhone really sold itself as a desktop browsing experience on mobile, same with maps on mobile, and of course bringing an iPod into the phone. But the true utility, the shift from that device to a computer in your pocket, didn't happen for about 5 years. And we went back and looked, and over the first 5 years, there were only 10 blockbuster apps that were released. These are apps like Facebook and Instagram, Uber, Venmo, Airbnb, TikTok. They're the central apps to our mobile experience today, but there are only 10 of them in that first 5 years. But those 10 collectively changed the whole utility of the phone, and we started to see an uptick in sales. In year 5, iPhone unit sales accelerated to 93% from 90% in year 4. Now that may seem small, just going from 90 to 93%, but when you're comping against large numbers, just any acceleration in growth is justification for an inflection point. There were other factors in year 5. The first large screen iPhone came out, iPhone 5, and there was broader global distribution, but I think that the developer community was the primary driver of that inflection point. Next, we're going to look at Watch. There also was a case that the utility right out of the gate was a disappointment. This product was released in 2015, and it took 2 years before investors started to see the light. The first 2 years, units were basically flat year on year. And it was in that year 3 where Apple really picked up the ball, and they developed on their own about 20 apps and new features, many of those around wellness and connectivity, that started to unlock the utility of the watch. And in that year 3, specifically, is when cellular connectivity came out for Watch. That kind of opened up a new, call it 25% of users to Watch, that really started to quicken the pace of adoption. So in year 3, we saw 43% unit growth compared to flat in year 2. And so there was an inflection point, but it took 3 years for Watch to essentially hit that point. But thanks to Apple essentially for carrying the ball. Third-party developers haven't done much for Apple Watch. It's really been Apple itself that's been building those features and apps. So what does all of this mean when you put it together? And I think for the next 5 years, Vision Pro is going to be a slow start. And I think that investors shouldn't be worried about that. This technology is so much more advanced than what's in a phone. It's going to be more difficult for developers to build these game-changing apps. So it's going to take time, and just like the iPhone, but take even more time. But I don't think investors should lose hope, because eventually this product is so strong on a tech perspective, there is going to be a developer community that's going to find ways to make money and build applications that we can't live without. So if we fast forward 5 years down the road and think of a similar trajectory as what it took for iPhone developers to get on board, I think that year, call it 2028, 2029, is when it gets more exciting related to Vision Pro. And at that time, too, we should start to see lower prices. The $3,500 is clearly a headwind, but I think 5+ years from now, we should see the product between $1,000 and $2,000, which should open it up to a bigger market. Putting it all together, I think that patience is going to pay off when it comes to Vision Pro. Don't lose hope. This is an incredible product and really is a breakthrough when it comes to how humanity is going to be interacting with machines. And I think Apple's going to hold a pole position in this. And ultimately, I think this product can be greater than 10% of Apple's revenue. That is going to be slightly greater than what the Mac and the iPad are as a point of perspective. And so I believe that this is ultimately going to be something that's going to generate value for those skeptical investors today. On behalf of Pressure Points and Deepwater, I'm Gene. Bye for now.